Welcome to race 3 of season 12 MRC GTTCC for the Pro 2 League. We'll just crack on straight into it. I'll just do the settings to get them all right. There we go, and run you through a field and crack on with it. I'm going to do like a at some point, I'll do it with someone in the race. I'm going to do like a track guide because I haven't really. I wish I could do that before I do the commentary, so it'd be quite an interesting thing to do. So, well, I think it would be anyway. All adds to the difference of the commentary. So yeah, I hope you're all well. So here we are with TC Idol. He qualified first on Racing Supersoft in a GTR. Now, the reason I pause there is because I do believe, Idol has changed cars, so he's I'm not sure which one he got rid of actually. He was in an Audi. Oh, what was he in last week? I can't remember. An Audi and something last week, but he's changed his car, so he's lost 30 points. So it's a bit of a shame for a quick driver, but he's obviously got to the right mix now. If you've got a GTR on the pole here, so he's in first place. Myself, Beserker-Boy, Racing Supersofts here in second. Scrap Drifter in another GTR here in third. Blackie and another Scooby in fourth. I just checked tyres. I thought Scrap Drifter last week on the Jag was on Racing Soft. So anyway, Woodhays, pole sitter from Willow, is back here in fifth in an Audi. Craigus Maximus Desmus Meridius, father of a... I've forgotten the line. Oh man. Father of a slaughtered son, husband to a murdered wife, I will have my revenge, yes. On Racing Soft and Racing Super Soft on the rear. I do apologise with my voice, especially for last week. I have actually got a throat infection and I'm now on antibiotics for. So it's not just like the paracetamol, I was trying to cure it. Hopefully my voice will hold out for doing these two. It's feeling much better than it was last week, that's for sure. Anyway, Sayerex and another GTR here back in 7th. Total Rose, the pre-season favourite, back here in 8th. In a GTR again. GTR seems to be very popular. GTR McGann League this year, I feel. Zafiro. Oh, that's interesting. Zafiro back here in 9th. The reason I say it's interesting is because I know how the race pans out. So Zafiro's obviously done very well. He's on Racing Softs as well. Skivet in a Lambo. Back here in 10th on Racing Supersofts. Alehead in 11th. Racing Supersofts in a Jag. Jason back here in 12th in a GTR. Racing Supersofts. McDaddy. In a GTR, surprise, surprise, Racing Softs. So he's probably going for a nose stop. It'll be interesting to see where these two finish. A similar sort of pace, but obviously different strategies here. Jason's on Racing Super Softs and Daddy on Racing Soft. So I have to try and remember how these two finish. The Hammer Games on. Oh, also that's interesting as well. The Hammer Games on Racing Softs. Back here in 14th. So he's looking to do a no-stopper as well. So even though they're at the back of the field at the moment, it'll be interesting to see how things progress for these boys. A new guy, Rufus Villain, he basically only jumped in very late to the qualifying, a little bit naughty, but hey-ho. And so didn't get a chance to qualify in lap, so I'm not sure about his pace, but he's back here in 15th in a GTR. So I don't know of any incidents at all. I only know obviously about from my point of view, but I'm really not sure of how things pan out. So hopefully I shall catch everything. So we'll start with pole sitter. I know I got a good, in Beserker-Boy I'm talking about, I got a good jump at the lights, but even so, TC Idol got just as good a jump and I was really impressed. So anyway, TC Idol into from the pole positions into the lead. He's going to hold it from Beserker-Boy into turn 2. Beserker's there in turn 2, so we've got Scrapdrifter trying to go around the outside of Beserker. Is he going to make a stick? No, he's not going to make a stick, so we go back here. Oh, is anyone coming off? Someone's gone wide. Who's that gone wide? Oh, right, okay, let's go back. Let's go back into this car. I think it was... That's the newer one. Okay, so... Someone goes wide back here. Was it Craig or was it into turn 1? Turn 1 was always going to be a bit of a thing, a bit of a kerfuffle. Yeah, that's Craigus Maximus Decimus Meridius. Now, does he get pushed wide? Let's go back up here. So everyone's trying to avoid each other. It's quite clear. But Sayrex dives. Oh, Sayrex dives up the inside. So Sayrex is. Let's go back to Sayrex. Right, last time I look at this, I think Sayrex makes... It's not so much a lunge as a bit of a dive. It just goes up the inside here. He's at his normal braking point. Oh, that's what it was. No, it wasn't Sayrex. Someone hit Sayrex. Oh, sorry. We'll get through... Eventually, at some point, we will get past turn 2 and carry on with the rest of the race. But I'm interested to see... Because there's Sayrex. So Sayrex gets... punted. Oh, it's Woodhaze. Woodhaze, you naughty boy. Woodhaze. And it's just caused that melee back where Skivit's gone off as Craig came back onto the circuit. So Woodhaze is the boy. Oh, and Woodhaze has now been... That was more of a Constantine effect. 3 wide going into a spot where only one car can really make a stick. But Woodhaze has stayed on the track. Been harassed now by McDaddy. There's more shenanigans going on back here as everyone through this horrible little right hand turn. Yep, so the field's now strung out and we'll go through them and see how they've all shuffled through. So TC Idol is out here in first place, still not really shifted. Berserker, who's right up his tailpipes in second place. Oh yeah, TC Idol gets that horribly wrong coming to this blind right hand turn. It's a horrible turn that because you can't see necessarily where the apex is. Oh, Scrapdrifter's looking up the inside of Beserker then, got a bit sideways, still unsettled in that GTR. And he's now been harassed by Sayrex back here in fourth place. Yeah, that turn is a blind right-hand turn where you can't find it, you can't see the exit very well. It just looks like barriers. It was Sayrex can have a look here. He dives up the inside, forces his way through. That was racing. There's nothing wrong with that. So Sayrex has got up to third place now in his GTR. In the meantime, TC Idol and Berserker have just pulled away a little bit now from Sayrex after lap 1. So we do our when it settles down a bit, because I don't know if it's going to settle down too much. We do our little lap tour here. So this horrible this right-hand turn here, you want to get the power on early, but you can't because you just drift it wide into the turf on the right there. Now this kink to the right here, you can't quite take it flat out as you heard TC Idol lifted there. If you nail it, you think you're about to hit the barrier. This is a horrible little turn. You brake before you even see the corner, and then you can slingshot it right here, but you can actually get the power on a bit earlier than TC Idol did then to come down for this long straight. Now each straight is just not quite long enough for the slipstream effect, even though the slipstream effect has now been nerfed a little bit in the game. You can catch up, but you can't really do anything with it. Now here's this horrible right-hand turn. Braking point is about at 75. You can't see where the apex is. You're never quite sure exactly when to put the power on when you hit the apex. The way I was doing it was shifting down 2 gears, letting it run for a second, and then putting the power on, and that seemed to make it work. So. And this horrible little left right-hand kink, the entry to that kink, if you go slow, you get a really good exit speed, which is what I've done here. Sorry, we do it again. I actually brake earlier than you really think that you should a little bit to slow up for this. If you hit the inside apex there, you then get a fantastic run through this section. As you can see, I've got a lovely run here on TC Idol. Coming up to this section here, which I find is actually the trickiest part of the circuit, is this little section here. I could never figure out whether to keep going flat out, but then it pushes me right to this side of the circuit, which is the wrong place to be, and gives me a poor run down start-finish straight. Or do you back off and then try and slingshot through? But if you back off, you then run the risk of being undercut into that last turn. So I really can't figure out that last turn. Anyway, back to the action. TC Idol's now got back in front of Beserker-Boy into turn 1. He's got far enough ahead so he didn't have to worry about Beserker into that little kink left. So we'll run through the field here. So TC Idol's in first place. Ooh, so didn't we know Sayrex was that close? Beserker-Boy is in second. Sayrex, let's go on board. Sayrex is holding third place. Scrap Drifter here in fourth. The GTR boys 1, 3, 4 so far. Make that 5. 1, 3, 4, 5. With Totoro's now up to 5th place. This GTR train at the halfway point of the circuit. Blackie is here in 6th in a Scooby. Zafiro's 7th. Not made. He was started 9th. So he's up to 7th at the moment. Owlhead, he's had a bit of a shunt there. He's at the back of his Jag back here in 8th. McDaddy 9th. Oh, he's having a nice fight here with Woodhaze. Woodhaze has dropped back as for the incident and drifting. Oh no, that was something else. So I'm not sure how Woodhaze has dropped back. Nice undercut there by Woodhaze. Is he going to hold? Yeah, he's going to hold it here for McDaddy into this left-hand chicane. So McDaddy 10th. The Hammer Games 11th. Craig's he was put wide at turn 2, still trying to recover, is back here in 12th. The new boy Rufus Villains up to 13th. Skivet, who was... Oh, someone's off! That looked like Totoro's. What's happened? Oh, yeah, we've missed it. What has happened here? What's happened here? Aaron comes... Oh, Sayrex loses it, bins it. Unfortunately, that takes that... Oh, dear, I hope all the drivers are okay. So Sayrex loses it. It's a racing incident. He's just drifted too wide. He doesn't ghost, which then hits Scrap Drifter. Scrap Drifter's managed to keep it going all right. I hope he's really damaged the car. Yeah, he's got masses of damage to that car all over the place. Blackie's got damage as well. So did he get it? Oh, he's already got damage. So let's go back to find where. No, he's not got a damage yet. So who did Blackie hit? Trying to avoid everyone. Who's he going to hit? Oh, he gets Scrap Drifter. So Totoro's Aaron. He's got damage to his front right and rear left. Oh, that's Sayrex. Where's it? Where's Aaron? Oh, Aaron. Oh, Aaron. Goodness me, disaster for Totoro's. He's got masses of damage here to the engine, to the front, to the 2 wheels. Just a racing incident. I hope all the drivers are okay and that they survived that one. So the field's now strung out for the first time in a race. Beserker-Boy's looking up the inside of TC Idol. Can't find a way for that Scooby to get past the GTR there. Out in front, so that's put a bit of a distance now between TC Idol and Beserker-Boy 1 and 2. Scrap Drifter, he's had a damaged car, has managed to hold it into 3rd place. Zafiro's now up into 4th. Obviously Zafiro picked his way through that melee. Blackie's recovered into 5th place. Oh, a nice little drift there from Blackie. I don't think he wanted to do that. I know the Scooby does drift at that point in the circuit. Sayrex now after that incident, so he's just drifted wide. Nothing, didn't do anything wrong. Racing incident. That stewards, I'm pretty sure, think about that. It's now gathered himself back to 6th. Woodhaze now up to 7th. McDaddy's up to 8th. The Hammer Games 9th. Craig's Maximus Desmos Meridius is back here in 10th. The 2 Scooby drivers, yeah, 2 Scooby drivers having a fun time back here, going through this blind right-hand turn. Owlhead's 11th. Rufus is 12th, Jason 13th, Skivet's back up to 14th, and Aaron, goodness me, disaster for the pre-season favourite for the league, is now running in 15th place. Oh dear. Oh, in the meantime, Beserker's got in front of TC Idol. Where did he make the move? dives up the inside here with this little kink. Yeah, it's great driving by TC Idol to be aware that Beserker was coming through, and Beserker gets a lovely run. He seems to get a nice run through this section here to this final corner, but like I said, you're never quite sure. Do you back off and pull over to the left, as both the boys did then? Beserker using the four-wheel drive of that Subaru gets a lovely draft, gets a lovely drive out of the last turn to pull away a bit from TC Idol. Fakes TC Idol into thinking he's going into the pits. We've only 7 minutes into the race, so that's not going to happen. So we'll also go through the lap times now. So here we are with Beserker-Boy now in first place, done a 48.9 his last lap. That was his quickest lap. Nice and tidy through that first, well, it's turn 2 actually, right hand turn. So 48.8 for Beserker, a 49.3 by TC Idol, a 48.5 time from Scrap Drifter. He's absolutely flying in that GTR. That's the fastest lap, and he's just done a purple sector as well. He's got the bit between his teeth. Scrap Drifter. He's caught right up to, oh, he gets it wrong there though, right up to TC Idol. Must have got a nice draft from start finish straight. So he's joining the lead party here. Zafira has done a 49.1, which is very commendable on racing soft tyres. He's up to 4th. Blackie's done a 48.5. He's obviously got, and he's got a lovely little draft here on Zafiro, so he's doing really well as well. So the top 5 have pulled out a bit of a distance now between them. Have to keep an eye. Oh, that's purple sector time for Mark there as well. Let's see how he takes this little kink. Yeah, just misses the apex, literally just. And he's going to get a nice drive here. The four-wheel drive of the Subaru seems to really kick in through that section and hold it down. And you can see he's starting to ease up on the back of Zafiro here. So yeah, Mark doesn't go flat out through that section. Never quite sure. He's got a great draft here now onto the back of Zafiro. Coming down the start finish straight. Is he going to take the place? Yep, he's side by side with McGann. Subaru versus McGann, Renault Power. Is he going to get past? Of course he is going to get easily past into 4th place. So let's see how he takes through turn 1. That really fast death corner, because if you get it wrong you're going to go smashing into that barrier head on. Oh, Zafiro's looking at, oh sorry, cut away too quick then. Let's go back to that. Let's go that way and do this. So Zafiro's managed to get a nice draft on the Subaru. He's going to try and outbrake the Subaru into turn 2, and he's done it very cleanly, but Blackie's not going to let, yet the four-wheel drive Subaru is pulling away. The Subaru, it's the strength of the Subaru is it pulls away and gets good drive out of every single corner. You can put the power down and know it's going to grip and pull very out of each corner. It's a great strength to have, certainly in like side-by-side battles like that. But we know the McGann is very grippy, so that's and the McGann, the problem with the McGann is top-end speed. But if you can get the McGann close to the back of the car in front, you can get a nice draft and pull away, well, and catch up. Right, we're now 10 minutes into the race, and up front the lead group has just concertinaed together. Scrap has caught up to the back of TC Idol, and Scrap's just done a purple sector time for himself, and by quite a long margin. He's obviously really getting the benefits now of the draft from TC Idol in front of him. Go through this section and see what happens. Come down the start finish straight with the top 3 boys. In the meantime, Mark's still holding off Zafiro in 4th and 5th. Sarek's now out in his own set in 6th. Woodhay's 7th. They're all strung out a little bit now with the rest of the field from about 6 onwards. So we'll just go back up to this lead group to see how they go down the start finish straight. Beserker again tries to fake out the guys behind him, thinking that he was going into the pits. Oh, Scrap Drifter's really pushing that GTR there. So everyone's clean through turn 1. Line of stone here for turn 2. Oh yeah, I thought so. I thought I'd come back to this. Zafiro, who looked at turn 2 on Blackie the last lap, and he's made it work this time. So Zafiro's back up into 4th place, but Blackie's not letting him go. He's right in the tailpipe to that McGann, smelling that unleaded petrol. Coming up, this is a horrible section. It's a blind corner, different braking points for different cars. Is it going to work? No, Blackie can't make it stick around there. So we are 12 minutes in. It's been it's a little bit static at the moment, but you can see that things are going to start brewing up with the top bunch all together, and everyone else line of stone with different abilities coming through the field. So Craig's he was the league leader going into this race by 1 point. He's back here in 8th place. McDaddy's up to 9th. Arrowhead 10th. Hammergain's still cruising back here in the 11th. He's lost the back end of Arrowhead. Skivit's up to 12th. Jason's 13th. Aaron's back up to 14th. Rufus Villain has had some sort of incident here. He's back in 15th. So just watch this as I have a quick drinks break. There we go. So Beserker's still in the lead at turn 1 on lap 8. Just can't shake the Woodhouses into the pits. Can't shake TC Idol away from him. I think what's to do with this. Berserker, I remember in the race, I had it in the bag around the corners, but I just couldn't get far enough away to avoid being slipstreamed by the powerful GTR cars behind me. And so on the back straight and the start-finish straight, all the good work I was doing through the corners was just being undone by the power of the GTR on the straights. And it was a little bit frustrating that I just couldn't get away from these boys, because I think if they didn't have the slipstream, they wouldn't have been able to keep so close. As you can see, we've got a train of cars here. 1, 2, 3. This is all looking a bit tasty. I think, yep, TC Idol was having a little nibble here. I think. Do I manage to hold it? No, I don't manage to hold it. Hold my lead into this. I do. No, I don't quite manage it. Oh yeah, I gave TC a little bump there, which just allowed Scrapdrift to come up 3 abreast here, coming into the chicane. Now, this is relevant because my tactics here, Beserker-Boy this is, I was thinking, you know what, we are nearly halfway, I don't really need to pit just yet, but with these two boys squabbling, if I pit now, hopefully these two boys around me will start squabbling and hold each other up, and I can now get out, do a pit stop and get out in front of these boys. So here I am pulling over to the left and letting the two GTR boys carry on with their merry way. So Berserker comes into the pits at 14 minutes. As you can see, my tyres went desperately down at the front there. I was hoping to get a good position, you know, clean position coming back out the pits, and I think I came out just behind someone. Yeah, the mark's just gone through. Blackie's just gone through there, so I'll come back out in 5th place. In the meantime, here we have Scrapdrifter and TC Idol. I was hoping we'd hold each other up a little bit in their quest for 1st place, but as you can see, there's a bit of a gap, and Scrapdrifter seems to be pulling away from TC Idol, and I was hoping that these two boys would stumble over each other a little bit. Zafiro is obviously not pitted on Racing Supersoft's gone up from 9th to 3rd, and he's now pulled away from Blackie in 4th place. Blackie's probably thinking about pitting at this point here. So there's Beserker-Boy in 5th on a fresh set of tyres. Sayrex is back up to 6th. It's looking, those front tyres of the GTR, not too bad, even considering it's halfway and it's a big heavy car. Craig's got back up to 7th. And I'll keep wanting to say Stu because it's Stu in the back, but maybe it is Stu. But anyway, McDaddy's up to 8th, and he's on minimal tyre wear, so he's no stopping as well. Remember, since I keep an eye on how his race turns out. With the other GTR drivers who was back here. Who was it? It was someone back here. Yes, it was Jason, wasn't it? So Jason's dropped back to 14th, unfortunately. Rufus Villain's into the pits. And he's not doing anything. I think Rufus Villain is retiring from the race. You can see the battered ends of that GTR. Maybe it's a terminal maybe it's terminal damage to the back of the GTR, and they're deciding that they can't do it. So he's into the pit, so it's just leaves Scrap Drifter now on 17 minutes. Sayrex has gone into the pit, 17 minutes on Racing Supersofts, and the GTR is making this work. But Daddy's into the pits. Daddy's into the pits. Oh, why is Daddy into the pits? I wanted to go back here. Let's go back here. Daddy, who I thought would be no stopping, he's got minimal tyre wear there. We've got 17 minutes. Basically 17 minutes. He's only got 13 minutes to go. Yeah, he's pitted. I don't understand the strategy there. I'm sure I've just seen a comment flash up. I have to find out what that's about. Let's just see if I can quickly look at the comments. Hammer Games has gone into the pit. So, and he's pitted. Oh, he's gone into Racing Supersofts. Oh, that's why he's pitted. I thought he was going to no stop, but he's not. He's gone for a different sort of strategy. So, hang on a minute. Let's just quickly check what that comment was while we drive on board with McDaddy. So I'll just go through the field as well. Aaron's back up to 12. Right, here we go. So, just see if I can find the comments. Oh, that's basically what Rufus been saying about Mercedes pit crew from Germany last year. Fair enough. Right, okay, carrying on. So Aaron has got. He's having a. I have to be honest, it's a particularly poor race for Aaron. Although he was suffered in an accident, he's only up to 12th. He's not actually doing particularly fast lap times either. He's done a 59. So obviously there's some sort of incident there, and a 50. So he's not up with the 48 times of the boys in front. Right, so we go. There he is, Rufus in the pit. So Scrap Drifter's come into the pits. Here he comes, the race leader, who's on Racing Supersofts. Not a huge amount of tyre wear on the front. He's gone into the pits. Where is he going to come out? Is Beserker-Boy going to be in front of him? There goes Zafiro. No, he comes out in front of Blackie, and he comes out well in front of Beserker. So Beserker has lost out in that shuffle with the pit stops, because Beserker pitted early, hoping to come out at the same spot as or in front of Scrap Drifter, but Scrap Drifter obviously has pulled away a little bit. So here we go. That's just allowed TC Idle to now be out in front of Racing Supersofts. Is TC Idle going to no stop? You know, we've got 10 minutes to go, and he hasn't got a huge amount of tyre wear gone on the front of that GTR. Obviously Zafiro's no stopping as well, so he's not going to be pitting. So the question mark I would have thought for the boys behind is TC Idle going to pit? Scrap Drifter's got. Oh, Beserker-Boy's just got ahead of. How did Beserker-Boy get ahead of Blackie? Where did Beserker-Boy make a move on Blackie? Oh, Blackie's drifted wide. He's just gifted the place to the Berserker. On board with Berserker. Where's the Blackie areas? So Berserker's been gifted 4th place there from Blackie. Slight mistake there from. Oh, it looks so close to that barrier under braking. It's a good job that Subaru's really stable. So Berserker's been gifted 4th place, but Mark is not letting him get away. In the meantime, Craigus Maximus, Decimus Meridius and Racing Softs on the front is up into 6th place. Now he's probably I'm guessing he's no stopping. We've now got 9 minutes to go. So the league leader in points by point is up into 6th place. He's slowly gathering places. Woodhays has had a quiet race with him. He's back here in 7th. I think he started about 7th, so he's not really gained anything. Sayrex has changed his tyres. He's gone on to Racing Softs. Strange decision. I thought he would have gone on Racing Softs, Racing Supersofts when he pitted for the last 15 minutes. But hey ho. Skivet, who had an awful instant turn 2, is up to 9th, but he hasn't pitted yet. Alehead, who looks like he has pitted, is back here in 10th. Toto Rose has got up to 11th. He's pitted. You can see he's got a fresh set of boots on there. The Hammer Games has been caught now by McDaddy here. Let's go on board with McDaddy. Through this last turn. Oh, it goes a little bit wide there. He could have run it a bit wider onto the curbs to Skimmy's gone into the pits. I thought he would to get a nicer drive here, but you can see the GTR here. As he got a bit of a poor run there at that last corner, he's not caught up to the back of the Hammer Games coming down the start-finish straight. Oh, I thought he was going to hit the barrier there. Thought he was going to hit the barrier. He doesn't quite. It looks horrible on board. I drive from the third person point of view myself. And how far behind is Jason? Jason's not too far behind. So yeah, you can see the boys up in front. So he's still within touch of picking up places. In the meantime, TC Idol looks like now he's no stopping. We are 8.5 minutes to go. And if he doesn't pit in this now, then it probably isn't going to. I have to say I'm impressed with how little tyre wear the GTR has got now with the update, because I remember testing the GTR myself and it seemed to scrub off the tyres a lot quicker beforehand, but it's not now. So no, TC Idol coming through to begin lap 13, 8 minutes to go. He's doing the 150s now. Obviously no stopping, so Zafiro still out in front of Scrap Drifter. Oh, Scrap Drifter's pushing that GTR so hard. Beserker-Boy, at this point in the race, I actually remember, if only I could get into the slipstream of the boys in front, I could catch up with them. But so 8 minutes, and just remember that I was desperately trying to catch up to the slipstream. I needed about another 3/4 of a second to get into the slipstream of these boys just up ahead. They're just out of reach at the moment. And the trouble with these two have is that they are slipstreaming each other and kind of like pulling away a little bit each time. So anyway, Woodhays is now back up to 5th. As Woodhays, what happened there? What happened to Sayrex? How did Sayrex drop down to? Unless it's it's a pit stop. So Woodhays he was quietly just minding his business around about 7th place last time I checked. He's got up to 5th, and I'm guessing that's to do with the pit stop. Blackie! What's happened to Blackie? He's back here in 7th. Have I missed something? Oh, he's pitted. That's what he's done. So Blackie's pit stop has put him back here into 7th place, and is now stuck behind those two in front. But he's on a fresh set of rubbers. Can he make that work? Oh, he gets it wrong. Just clips the inside barrier there. So Craig's now down to 8th, but he's down to 8th because he's just pitted as well. Ailhead and Jag back here in 9th. Toto Rose is now up to 10th after being last. Skibbit, who's just pitted, is back here in 11th. The Hammer Games has dropped back to 12th. McDaddy's looking up the inside, so these boys fighting might allow Jason. Can he see the cars in front? Yeah, you can just see him up there. So if Jason can get a jiggy on, he's got 7 minutes to go. Can he catch the tails of McDaddy and the Hammer Games? Right, let's go back up to the no stopping then. 6 minutes to go. Oh, look how that front right of that GTR is suffering now. How far? Oh, I thought he was going to drift wide. How far is Scrap? Oh, Scrap Drifter has got past Zafiro. Is that down? Yeah, it's down the start finish straight. Here we go. Scrap Drifter's got a good drive in the GTR and has finally got past Zafiro. So is Zafiro suffering now because Scrap Drifter's on a fresh set of tyres? Can Scrap catch up to TC Idol? Tyre wear on, let's have a look at, there we go, there's the Zafiro. Tyre wear down on the McGann is only down by about, I'd say, a quarter at most. So managed then to hold on to, or to sort of changing positions back there. To hold on to 3rd. Can he keep it in front of Beserker-Boy? He's probably catching at this point on racing super softs. Woodhays 5th. Yeah, someone's off back there. Let's go back. Who was that back off? Is that Blackie again? Back off? I saw some sort of change of movement there. Can't see who it was. You can see everyone's kind of like strung out. There's not really any hugely close battles apart from the one up front. Alehead's far enough ahead away of Toto as not to worry about Aaron at the moment. Aaron's quite a long way ahead of Skibbit. Skibbit's a fair way ahead of the Hammer Games, but he's got McDaddy breathing down his neck, so this is the close battle here. Jason's catching slowly, I think, the guys in front, but not quite there. Ruthless still contemplating life in the pits. So, it's a little bit as you are with 5 minutes to go. Our lead driver is obviously bleeding time to the guys behind him. He's done another 50.3, whereas Scrap Drifter's just done a 48.8, so he's 1 second a lap faster. If only the game would show me how many seconds he is behind the guy in front. He's now just done a 7:48.7. You can see the guy in front in the lead just up ahead. Oh, that always scares me every time. So he's obviously going to catch the guy in front. We've got 4 minutes to go. Can he get up to the back bumper of that car within 4 minutes? In the meantime, we've got Zafiro here, who's now losing time to Scrap Drifter, and is ever so slowly being caught. Oh, that was a lovely line there from Beserker. Barely came off the power at all. So slowly being caught. That's what I thought. Beserker's got the bit between his teeth. He's done his fastest sector time there. Desperately trying to catch up to the back of that McGann in front to try and get a slipstream, to try and get into the fight for a podium. Can he make it? If you look at the map there at the top right, you can see the top 4 boys where the red arrow is are in a group all on their own, and the boys behind are now starting to concertina up. So the top 4 are concertinaing together. Back here, yeah, you can see is I think Woodhaze, who's got suffering front tyre wear on the Audi. I think he's now being caught by Craig, who's got much better tyre wear on that Subaru. And Sarex, who we know is fast, is also catching this little group as well, going to get a slipstream. Sarex has done the best sector time through that sector, so he's pushing hard near the end as well. So this little group of continuing to go in. In fact, so much so, let's go on board with Craig looking at the tailpipes of that Audi in front. Can the Subaru find a way past the Audi within the last 2.5 minutes? Gets a nice, got a slingshot underneath here, yeah, because Woodhaze went very defensive. For Audi versus Subaru pair down the start-finish straight. This is going to be interesting. The Audi's pulling away. I'm surprised. Even in the slip, the Subaru is not that bad. It's not exactly a slow car, but it can't. Even when he's right up the tailpipes coming into the last turn, he can't make a move, and he's not close enough here to outbrake the Audi into turn 2. So. He's got it. But as I said to you before, the Subaru gets great drives out of corners. Hang on a second. Just had a quick drinks break there. I kind of want to see what's going on here, and I kind of want to see what's going on up in front as well. I have to keep an eye on that, because in the meantime, yep, here we go. TC Idol with 1.5 minutes to go has now got Scrap Drifter right up close. Can TC Idol? He's got now 1 minute to go. Can he keep? He's obviously suffering, TC Idol, with tyre wear, as you can see. Can he find a way to block Scrap Drifter for a whole lap? Now, in the meantime to this, Beserker-Boy is now right in the slipstreams. Just caught the slipstream now, Zafiro, for 3rd place. So everyone's catching in a little battle. So we go up board here with the race leader, who's now been caught by Scrap Drifter, who's got much better tyre wear. Can the GTR versus GTR? He's got a good. Oh, TC Idol's is going to block into turn 1. Must be very difficult to hold that GTR. Oh, maybe he should have stayed on the right hand side of the block. He is. He's gone to the right hand side of the block. He's blocking Scrap Drifter. Can he keep it around? Can they put the side by side? Great! Oh, fantastic overtake there from Scrap Drifter. He managed to make it stick around the outside. That's so good. Let's look at that again. Scrap Drifter here. Let's go for the glory shot position. There we go. Scrap Drifter here. Thinks about diving up the inside, but TC Idol blocks it, so Scrap goes around the outside. I thought he was going to try and undercut TC Idol, but he doesn't. He keeps going around the outside, and TC Idol gives him room. That's great driving there from both those boys to allow Scrap Drifter now, with 10 seconds to go. This will be the last lap to take the lead on the last lap, and you can see he's just starting to pull away. So those two boys there. Has Beserker caught up to Zafiro? He's about half a second off, so he might be able to do something towards the end of the lap. In the meantime, Woodhays has still got Craig, so we're going to have quite a grandstand finish here for this first race of the evening. The Scrap Drifter is definitely starting to pull away now. This is the final lap, 30 minutes is up. Scrap Drifter coming into this horrible turn. TC Idol's not giving up. Oh, TC Idol gets it wrong, but then Scrap drifts a bit too wide there. TC Idol grazed the inside of that last turn. Is he close enough to get a slipstream down the start-finish straight? In the meantime, I just saw Beserker-Boy. He's really close to the back of Zafiro as well. He's definitely within a slipstream of that. Again, can he make a move himself? But let's go back up to the front so we can watch Scrap Drifter. He's held off. He's made a pit stop. He got past TC Idol with a fantastic move. So Scrap Drifter is going to come down to win at Sardegna for race 1. TC Idol, no stop for win, is in second. Zafiro holds off Beserker-Boy for third. Beserker-Boy's fourth. Great result for him. So Woodhays has kept it in front of Craig, coming down the start-finish straight. So Woodhays is going to finish 5th. Craig's going to finish 6th. Sayrex is going to finish 7th. They're all concertinated together. Blackhead then finishes in 8th. He's had a few incidents, just pushed him back. As you can see, everyone's. I'm going to have to pause this because everyone's still really close. I can't even get the words out before they finish. So Alehead has cruised through the field. He's been caught by Totoros towards the end of the race. He's had a quiet race here as Alehead, but he's managed to stick that Jag into 9th place. Aaron's had a disaster for him. Is finished in 10th. Hang on, I need to pause it because other drivers have finished. So Aaron's finished 10th. Skivet is going to finish 11th. McDaddy has finished 12th. He kept it ahead of the Hammer Games at 13th. And Jason, I don't know how far behind they were. Let's go back. See how far Jason was before the race finished. So how far behind was Jason when the race finished? It's still fairly off. Let's go back to... Oh, these two boys were quite close. So Rufus Villain came back out. So here we're on board with 12th place. He's trying to get the toe from Rufus. So McDaddy finishes 12th. The Hammer Games 13th. Jason finishes 14th. Rufus Villain finishes 15th. And let's go back to Skivet finishing his race in the lowly Lamborghini, all on his lonesome back here. We'll forward it through. So we go on board in the cockpit view? Yeah, I've not been on board with the cockpit view of the Lamborghini. Let's give Chris a bit of airtime here. See the lines he cuts through there. You can't see the apex, drift out wide. What kind of line is he going to take through this little chicane? Is he going to hit the inside apex? Yep, does. Nice and tidy through there. Gets good power on. Doesn't ease off at all. It's full throttle through there. So does Skivet go full throttle through here? No, he eases off to come around wide to the left here. Cut the apex there. Couldn't gain any position up to Aaron. So Skivet here is going to finish in 11th place, and that's your race for Sardegna. Hope you enjoyed. I should be doing the next race at Berg shortly. So take it easy. Thanks a lot. See you later, and goodbye.